What do you want to talk about now?
What do I want to talk about now?
About you,
About me?
not about
Oh, that's
me.
no fun. That's not funny.
You start your show back up and then you have me on and then we'll talk about me.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll talk to you offline, and I wanting to do a show, so
Well,
we'll
we'll talk
talk.
about that. I would be thrilled. So that sounds
Cool,
wonderful to me.
cool.
So y'all heard it
I'm an
here
open book.
first. We're going to make it
Well,
happen.
are there any questions?
Well, right now they've just been listening to us. But
Oh,
I do
okay.
have, but Tracy Savage is in chat and she said to tell you hello there and that you're
Oh,
sounding awesome.
well, thank you. Tracy's great. She's great people.
Yes.
Thank you, Tracy.
But, well, I have a question.
Okay, the lady behind the mic. Go ahead.
When you started Lone Star State Paranormal
Okay.
Investigations, that's been a while. And how did you first? Because people are wanting to start teams, they're wanting to start investigating. If they do the research, do the work, learn the stuff, and can I just say Lloyd's book is probably the best. The I
Lloyd's book is, yeah, to
It's the
me, it's the
Bible.
Bible.
Yes,
It's the Bible.
that's funny that we both said
And
that.
and even if we weren't friends, I would still say it was the Bible. I mean, that's the most thorough book I have ever seen on the study. I mean,
Yes,
to
yes,
me, he's Professor Paranormal. He's the Godfather.
he is.
I kneel to him.
And he would
Uh,
say, "What are you doing? Get up!"
yeah, he was. Yeah, he would look at me and go, "What the hell are you doing? Get up!"
Right? And
You
he's
know.
a pretty good chocolatier too. But
Yeah.
what would you tell somebody who has done the work? They've studied with Lloyd's work. They've studied with all these other people, Richard Leonard, all these people that have been doing this.
Yeah.
Maybe Pete Haviland. So they're ready. They think they've got a team together. They know how the equipment is supposed to work, what they're looking for with it. How would you tell them to go about getting clients and kind of stepping out and letting people know that they can possibly help them?
Well, when we formed Lone Star back in the early mid 90s. I think it was like 95 or 96. And then we had a web presence in 97, I think it was. I could be off a year or two on it. It's been so long. But, at that point, I had just heard that somebody was looking in Houston to form a team. And Katie Phillips, good friend of mine still. I mean, we don't talk as often as I'd like, but, you know, her and her husband, Dean, were the ones that originally were looking to start something, and I had met with them along with I think four or five other people on a Halloween at Winchie Brothers Cafe in Spring to discuss putting a team together. And I asked her why she wanted to put a team together, and she said that she wanted to go to a haunted house. And Dean, her husband, was like, well, there's a lot of these other places around here that we can go. The haunted place. You go on Halloween. The haunted places,
Right.
like Silo X and all that other stuff. And she was like, no, I wanted to go to see a real haunted house. So we had all sat down, kind of over burgers in the haunted place that Winchie Brothers Cafe, and we all got along real well. Chemistry is a big thing. Um,
Absolutely.
and I know that you bring people on for need of what their backgrounds are. But first you need to look at chemistry. And because if you don't have chemistry and if they have the background, if you don't get along, they're not going to stick around that long anyway.
Truth.
Um, now, we had always, all of us had a passion for it. So we were always studying. We were always looking at past investigations, and stuff that, and I'm not talking, I'm talking real stuff that's happened over time. Like one of the cases that one of two cases that really um, just floored me. One was a Borley Rectory, okay, and from Harry Price's book on the Borley Rectory, what had happened there. That was one case that just my eyes fell down. Another place was the
I'm going to
Paul
interrupt
Branch.
you because that Harry's, when you were talking about Harry, you were breaking up a little bit. Skype must be having a fit tonight. Can you please repeat that?
Oh, okay. The Borley Rectory, Harry Price, his book.
The Bully Rectory.
The Borley Rectory. I think it was in England. About Mary Ann who lived there and how she would, and the things that happened there, and her speaking with the spirits by writing on the wall and getting answers and things like that. It just blew my mind, especially some of the pictures. The floating brick.
Right.
Yeah, I think after the Borley was taken down, that was just phenomenal to me. The Haw Branch plantation. Gibson, Jefferson, McAnafee had written a journal on what had happened at Haw Branch, and that stuff was just fascinating too. And in all honesty, I don't think anybody really remembers, or I don't see anybody discussing that as a case. But that was one of the older cases that I had gotten information. I think that was back in the 80s. I think I had sent off for the journal of the hauntings there, and that goes back early 1900s, I think, when a lot of that stuff was happening.
Mm-hmm.
It's just phenomenal stuff, and I don't see folks posting about that or talking about it. I don't think most folks really know about that haunting, and it's pretty intense. I just really see a lot of the folks talking about the stuff that's just, makes the circuit. Always learn about where the study has been, so you know where you can take the study forward.
That is great.
And you need to know the forefathers of investigation. Yeah, Harry Price, Peter Green, D. Scott Rogo, Barry Taff, Dr. Nichols, Lloyd. Learn to know where people have been to bring the study forward. I don't want to ever hear people saying that, that about folks on TV, they're the ones that brought the study forward. I'll laugh at you. That's one of the first times, it's one of the only times I'll laugh at you. Because they are in a long line of people that have been doing this. The faults of where people have been in the past, you're doomed to repeat them in the future.
Right.
So
if you don't know history, you're going to repeat it.
You don't. Exactly. And it also gives you a good idea to say, hey, well, this worked, that worked. How can we improve upon it? And that, I know that's where we get some of the prototypical equipment that we're getting now. And I hope hope one day that some of these prototypical equipment will be more mainstream than they are now. Some of them are pretty good. Some of them are just and some of them are just I don't know how to describe them.
Right. We're having some sound issues, but I'm putting answers in when people.
Can you hear me better now?
Well, try that again.
Okay. What would you like? Which point?
Well, that sounds a little better. We were just having.
Okay.
I think it's Skype. I don't think it's us.
Okay.
But you're putting out such great information. I'm trying to enter it. So you're such a mess.
Yeah. My wife still lets me sleep indoors, so I'm doing okay.
No, you're doing good. That's a good day.
So, yeah, I mean, those are some of the things I would tell you as far as getting clients, it's a lot of times it's word of mouth. I mean, that's what we did, back when. It was always word of mouth. I mean, the internet wasn't as big as it was back then. You only had maybe in the state of Texas, maybe 10, 12 teams at the time. Now you can't throw a quarter without hitting a team.
Right.
But, but you also have to ask yourself, why are you doing this? And I have no problem if you want to do this because you want to get on TV. That's fine. But know why you're doing it. Okay. And treat it as such. There are a lot of researchers that I know, old timers, that have ducked out of the study because of a lot of the drama that goes on. A lot of them are starting to poke their heads up now because teams starting to thin out because a lot of the paranormal shows and stuff. I mean, there's not a whole lot of them going on. Oh, and by the way, talking about paranormal shows, I wish the best of luck to Tennessee Wraith Chasers.
Me too.
I know that 3 shows is just unheard of. 1 is hard enough to get, but 3 shows, that's just unheard of. So best of luck to them.
I hope.
I
I
forgot to say that when we were talking before. I didn't want you thinking that I ignored it. I didn't. I just forgot to say.
That's okay.
But also, always strive to be the best person you can be, and know why. Like I said, know why you want to do it, and get the information, get the education. Be it college or certifications or whatever from accredited places to help you with that. Credentials is big. I have to tell you, credentials is big, and that's not just going on to a place that you can just sign on and get a certificate for $50 or $100 for 3 lessons or something. I'm talking about real credit places. Because people look at that to see what you can do, and especially these days. I mean, as I said, there's team after team out there, and there's a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Competition that shouldn't be there. But and that goes back to what we were talking about before. About evidence and stuff. A lot of people have a lot of it, their evidence they'll hold back because I have the best, or they'll hold it back because they want to try to get it onto a show or whatever the case may be. And that ties into what I was telling you. Why are you into this? Are you into this for the study? Are you into this to help people? Are you into this to try to get a paycheck? Be honest. And if you're going to, you need to be honest with yourself, and you need to, and the team needs to be honest, so you know what direction you need to go.
Yes.
Because
so that your clients know what they're getting.
Because I will tell you this, and it will happen in a heartbeat. The minute somebody outs you for being a fraud, you will not be able to live it down.
Yep.
I have seen it so many times.
Well, it happens to people who are very big in this field. And that's what just blows me away sometimes. I'm always so surprised that they allow that to happen. Why are you being fraudulent when you have all this background, all this experience, people have believed in you for decades, and all of a sudden you're a farce? How did you let that happen?
Well, let me tell you this. I've learned this through Dr. Taff, okay? And I've learned it through Lloyd. And please understand to your listeners, I don't say this to name drop, and I just happen to know the folks. But they have shown me, more so Barry than Lloyd, have shown me contracts of when of the people sign to either be in an episode or on a show and stuff like that, where you're actually signing away your rights to be portrayed as how they see you fit. So if you're in a reality show, if they want to portray you as